Welcome to part 1, dried pineapple flowers. The reason that I decided to do it this way is when I was going through the recipe and going through all the steps of getting this cake baked and assembled, I realized that after everything is done and the cake is cooled, you've done the crumb coat, you've frosted the cake, the last thing you're going to want to do is spend more time in the kitchen slimming over a hot oven, slicing up pineapple, baking these flowers. So I figured get it done first, get it out of the way, and that way by the time the cake is done, all you have to do is pop these beauties right on top. Let me show you what we need to get started. To make your dried pineapple flowers, all you will need is either a whole fresh pineapple or canned pineapple rings. If you're using canned pineapple rings in the standard 20-ounce container, make sure that you reserve 8 ounces for the cake, and you should be left with 4 pineapple rings. Go ahead and lay these out on your cutting board, because what we're going to do next is slice these in half, lengthwise, like so. When you're finished, you should have 8 thinly sliced pineapple rings. Feel free to use a paring knife or a mandolin, because you want these rings as thinly sliced as possible. Next, go ahead and preheat your oven to 225 degrees, and get these pineapple rings on a silicone mat or parchment paper. Voila! Your pineapple rings are ready to go in the oven. They're going to stay there for about 25 to 30 minutes until they start to get golden and brown and the tops start to dry out, at which point you're going to flip them over and let them bake for another 25 to 30 minutes. Keep an eye on that timer. See you in 25 minutes. Great! Our pineapple rings are starting to turn golden brown at the edges and the tops are starting to dry out, right at the 25-minute mark. Now, we're going to carefully flip them over and let them bake for another 25 minutes. You may notice as you're flipping your flowers over that these may be a little tricky or difficult to work with at this stage, so take your time and be gentle. Use a spatula or tongs or whatever you need to make sure that when you're flipping them over, they retain as much of the original shape as possible. If it's not perfect though, don't worry, because flowers aren't really perfect either. The individual nature of your flowers will make them unique, and it won't detract at all from the overall result. Just try to make sure that you keep them as intact as possible. See you in 25 minutes. Keep an eye on that timer. So here I am at the 10-minute mark, and I've decided to make a snap decision. I'm going to shape these flowers a little bit. I have some small silicone prep bowls that I'm going to put the flowers over so that they take on a more rounded shape as they finish baking. Let me show you how I did it. I draped some of these flowers over the bottoms of the smaller bowls and a few on the inside of the larger bowls, and this should create a more rounded flower blossom. We're going to give these about another 6 to 7 minutes, and then we're going to take them out. You can see that I already took one out already. The edges were definitely brown enough. And voila, they're all done. We're going to let these cool for about 15 minutes before transferring them to a wire rack to cool completely. Then into an airtight container in the refrigerator till we're ready to put them on our cake. And you're all done. I actually found these pretty easy to make, not super labor intensive or difficult, and hopefully you found them pretty easy as well. Now, that being said, if you find that your edge is burnt or you otherwise think they don't look presentable, don't feel like you have to add them to the cake. I just thought that they made a very nice focal point for this cake. So if you don't like it, leave it off. It doesn't matter. I hope you enjoyed this mini installment for the accessories portion of this video, and I will see you back to make the rest of this cake. See you soon.